You are the path, 12 lessons of deep wisdom that will reshape your life. Introduction, the truth no one will tell you. Have you ever sat in silence and wondered why life feels like it's on hold? Why, despite everything you've read, listened to, or tried, you still feel stuck, waiting? Waiting for a sign. Waiting for the right time. Waiting for someone to show you the way. Let me tell you a hard truth, no one is coming. But here's the better news, no one needs to. Because everything you're seeking, clarity, strength, peace, and purpose, already lives inside you. The path is not out there. The path is you. This isn't just motivational fluff. It's ancient truth echoed in Buddhist teachings, Stoic philosophy, and the real stories of ordinary people who turned pain into purpose. This isn't about quick fixes or toxic positivity. It's about transformation through timeless wisdom and how embracing your struggle can become your greatest superpower. So if you've ever felt broken, behind, lost, or tired, stay with this. Not just for inspiration, but for a roadmap back to your true self. Let's begin. 1. Rebirth through emptiness, why hitting rock bottom is the beginning. There's a moment in every person's life when things fall apart. The job is gone. The relationship ends. The dreams crack under pressure. You look around and see nothing. No help. No way forward. Just silence. It's terrifying. But what if I told you that this emptiness isn't a punishment, it's a rebirth? Buddhist wisdom doesn't fear the void. It welcomes it. Because when the ego crumbles, when attachments fall away, something purer is revealed, possibility. You see, when you have nothing left to lose, you're free to become anything. Personal reflection, the night I lost everything. I still remember the night I stared at my ceiling at 3 a.m., jobless and broke, feeling like I had failed at life. I had nothing, no income, no direction, and no one who really understood. But that night was the first time I truly listened, not to the noise outside, but to the silence within. And in that silence, an idea was born, tiny, fragile, but real. If I could build from zero, I could build something real. I didn't need certainty. I needed courage. And maybe you do too. Story example, from homeless to hope. Consider the story of Chris Gardner, the man behind The Pursuit of Happiness. He was homeless with a young son, sleeping in subway bathrooms. Yet in that empty place, he chose not to give up. He chose to rise. And eventually, he became a multimillionaire and motivational speaker. He didn't wait for rescue. He rebuilt from zero. So what's stopping you? Wisdom takeaway. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. Buddha. Let go of the illusion that someone will pull you out. Let go of the need to have it all figured out. Let go of your past so your future can begin. Ask yourself, what can I strip away today to uncover my true power? 2. Desperation is a divine catalyst when pain becomes your power. Desperation gets a bad rap. We're told it's weakness. That hitting rock bottom is shameful. But in truth, desperation is a spark. It's your soul saying, I can't live like this anymore. And that is where transformation begins. Think of a starving lion. It doesn't lie down and whimper. It hunts with every fiber of its being. It becomes more alive than ever. So must you. Personal reflection, my breaking point became my turning point. There was a time I was juggling 2 underpaid jobs, skipping meals, drowning in debt, and pretending to be okay. But one morning I just broke down. Cried in the car before work. I wanted to quit on everything. But instead, I gave myself a promise, let this pain make you relentless. That was the day everything changed, not outside me, but inside. Example, the Buddha's fire. When Prince Siddhartha left his palace, he had nothing, no food, no title, no roadmap. What he did have was hunger, not just physical, but spiritual. That hunger led him to enlightenment. Without desperation, there would be no awakening. Wisdom takeaway. Don't run from pain. Don't numb it. Use it. Let it drive you to discipline. Let it sharpen your clarity. Let it light a fire that cannot be extinguished. Pain is fuel. Burn wisely. 3. Become your own master, the power of solitude. We live in a world that's constantly shouting at us, opinions, expectations, distractions. It's no wonder we feel lost. But the truth is, clarity doesn't come from the crowd. It comes from stepping away from the noise. Buddhist wisdom, and indeed the path of every great master, begins with one radical choice: solitude. It's not loneliness. It's presence. It's the courage to walk alone long enough to hear your own voice. Story example: the silence that changed my life. Years ago, I took a solo retreat. No phone, no internet, no people, just mountains, a journal, and my breath. The first 48 hours were awful. My mind screamed with every regret and insecurity. But on the third day, something shifted. I wasn't escaping the world. I was returning to myself. From that silence, I realized what I really wanted to do with my life. Not what others expected, what my soul needed. That decision, made in solitude, changed everything. Historical reference: Da Vinci, Tesla, Buddha. Da Vinci sketched in quiet obsessions. Tesla wandered parks alone to envision future inventions. Siddhartha sat beneath a tree, no guidance but the whisper of the truth within. Solitude is an emptiness. It's the forge of genius. Wisdom takeaway. You cannot master life if you haven't mastered yourself. And self-mastery begins where the world ends, in silence. What distraction can you eliminate today to reclaim your focus? What time will you carve out to just be with yourself? 4. The illusion of the perfect moment. Why now is all you need. How many dreams have died waiting for the right time? We wait until we have more money, more confidence, more certainty. But the perfect moment? It's a myth. A sailor who waits for calm seas never leaves the shore. The truth is, action creates momentum. Not the other way around. Personal reflection: the blog I nearly never started. Before I wrote my first article, I had every excuse. It's not perfect. I need to study more first. No one will read it. Then I published anyway. It was raw, flawed, imperfect. But it changed my life. That article reached 7,000 people. None of that would have happened if I kept waiting for perfection. Example: Steve Jobs and the garage. Apple wasn't launched in a polished corporate tower. It began in a garage. What Jobs had wasn't polish, it was audacity. Those who wait watch. Those who act win. Wisdom takeaway. Stop waiting to be ready. Readiness is a lie your fear tells you. Take the first step. Even if it's messy. Even if you're scared. Because once you move, momentum follows. What's the one thing you've been putting off that you can start today? 5. Ownership over victimhood. Take back your power. Let's be honest, blaming others feels good. It's easier to say, I had bad luck, or they didn't help me, than to admit, I am responsible for this. But here's the truth. The moment you take 100% responsibility for your life, you gain 100% of the power to change it. No one is coming. No mentor, no partner, no stroke of luck. It's on you. And that's not a punishment, that's your liberation. Example: from victim to visionary. A friend of mine was laid off during the pandemic. At first, he spiraled: anger, blame, hopelessness. But then he stopped asking, why me, and started asking, what now? He used the time to build a small consulting service from his kitchen. Today, it's a thriving 6-figure business. Not because someone saved him. Because he saved himself. Personal insight: responsibility is a superpower. When I stopped blaming my past, my parents, the economy. When I said, this is my life. My mess. My move. That's when things started to shift. Victimhood is a prison. Ownership is the key. Wisdom takeaway. Yes, life can be unfair. Yes, pain comes uninvited. But you have a choice to be the author of your story or a footnote in someone else's. Ask yourself, what excuse am I still clinging to? What area of my life am I waiting for someone else to fix? Now, what can I own starting today? 6. Energy is created, not given. Move first, the fire will follow. We often say, I'm tired, as if energy is some external gift we're waiting for. But what if the truth is this? Energy isn't found. It's created. You don't gain energy by lying still. You gain it by engaging with life. Just like a river flows faster when it moves, your vitality rises the moment you take action. Personal reflection, the days I felt most drained. Oddly enough, the days I sat doing nothing, scrolling, binge watching, resting, were the days I felt most exhausted. Why? Because passivity breeds stagnation. Movement creates momentum. One morning, I forced myself to go for a short walk despite having zero energy. By the time I got back, I felt clearer, lighter, more alive. Not because of rest, but because I moved. Example, the samurai who kept moving. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary Japanese swordsman, didn't wait for motivation. He practiced relentlessly, sharpening his blade every single day, even when uninspired. He knew that discipline births energy, not the other way around. Wisdom takeaway. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Start moving, and the motivation will meet you there. What one action can you take right now to break inertia? Even the smallest step forward breaks the cycle of exhaustion. 7. Resourcefulness over resources, the hidden superpower of the broke. We've been sold a lie that we need money, time, or connections to begin. But history and Buddhism says otherwise. It's not what you have. It's what you do with what you have. The greatest innovators didn't start with abundance. They started with hunger, with lack, with nothing but vision. Example, the Wright brothers and the bicycle shop. The Wright brothers weren't engineers. They didn't have investors or labs. They had a bicycle shop. But they had something far more valuable: obsession, curiosity, and resourcefulness. And they gave us the sky. Personal reflection, creating with what I had. I built my first coaching platform with free tools, no marketing budget, and a $200 laptop. What I lacked in money, I made up for in time, focus, and relentless learning. I didn't wait for ideal conditions. I made do, and that made me sharp. Wisdom takeaway. Buddhist teaching reminds us, attachment causes suffering. And one of the greatest attachments is believing, I need more before I start. What if what you have right now is enough? Let scarcity fuel your creativity. Let limitations become launch pads. Ask yourself, what small resource do I already have that I've been overlooking? 8. The power of relentless consistency. Brick by brick, you become unstoppable. Everyone wants breakthrough moments. But true transformation? It's not found in intensity, it's found in consistency. Success is rented, and the rent is due every day. We think we fail because we're not smart or lucky. But more often, we fail because we stop too soon. Example, the monk and the stone. There's an old Zen parable of a monk who strikes a rock 100 times and nothing happens. On the 101st strike, it cracks open. The question is, would you keep swinging when nothing seems to change? Most people don't. Personal insight, the magic of 1% better. I once committed to writing just 1 page per day for 365 days. That became a full-length book, a community of 10,000 readers, and a new career. No overnight explosion. Just quiet, relentless effort. Wisdom takeaway. Fall in love with the process. Show up when no one's watching. Keep going when results are invisible. Ask yourself, What one habit, done daily, would compound into greatness over time? Now commit to it. 9. Master in detachment, let go or be dragged. You hold on so tightly. To the job you hate. To the relationship that's over. To the dream that's no longer aligned. Why? Because letting go feels like losing. But Buddhist wisdom flips this completely. Attachment is the root of suffering. And letting go is not giving up, it's growing up. Personal reflection, releasing the old dream. For years, I clung to a business that was draining my energy. It paid well, but it no longer aligned with my values. Still, I stayed. Out of fear, pride, and ego. Until one day I asked, what if letting go of this opens the space for something better? So I closed it down. Within 3 months, I had more peace, clarity, and freedom than I'd felt in years. And eventually, I built something far more aligned, with less stress and more impact. Metaphor, the river. A river doesn't push through a mountain. It flows around it. It doesn't resist, it adapts. That's detachment, moving with life, not against it. Wisdom takeaway. What if your expectations are the prison? What if your obsession with control is blocking your growth? Release the grip. Trust the process. Flow forward. Ask yourself, what are you still holding onto that's holding you back? 10. The power of serving others, the secret to true abundance. In a world obsessed with getting more money, more status, more validation, we forget the truth. The fastest path to joy isn't in taking. It's in giving. When you serve others, you step out of the tiny bubble of self-concern and into something far more expansive. And ironically, this is where abundance begins. Example, the candle that lights others. A candle loses nothing by lighting another. In fact, it shines brighter through the act. Every act of kindness, every moment of generosity, whether seen or unseen, adds value to the world. And what adds value returns value. Personal insight, from scarcity to service. When I shifted from asking, how can I earn more, to how can I serve more? Everything changed. Clients found me. Opportunities opened. And even more importantly, I felt truly alive. Because contribution isn't just noble. It's spiritually magnetic. Wisdom takeaway. Ask not, what can I get? Ask, what can I give? In your relationships, your work, your community. Start small. A helpful message. A skill freely shared. A quiet act of kindness. Service doesn't drain you. It multiplies you. 11. The unshakable mind, calm in the chaos. Life is loud. It throws storms your way, layoffs, breakups, betrayals, fears. But what if you could become unshakable? Like a mountain during a storm, winds howl, rains fall, but the mountain stands unmoved. This is the heart of Buddhist mental training. Peace is not the absence of chaos. It's the calm within it. Example, the warrior monk. In Zen stories, there's a warrior monk known for walking calmly through battlefields, not because he was fearless, but because he was anchored within. His mind was like still water, unmoved by outer waves. Personal practice, respond, don't react. One of the greatest shifts I ever made was pausing before responding. When something painful happened, an insult, a failure, a fear, I would breathe. Wait. Choose. That tiny pause gave me back my power. The world didn't get easier. I got steadier. Wisdom takeaway. Train your mind like you train your body. Stillness is a skill. Calmness is a practice. Meditation. Reflection. Breath. Each one is a brick in the fortress of mental clarity. Ask yourself, how can I strengthen my mind today, not just my tasks? 12. The end of excuses, the truth that will set you free. There comes a day when you stop. Stop blaming. Stop waiting. Stop hiding behind not ready. And on that day, something radical happens. You realize no one is coming. But that's okay, because now you are. The warrior's mindset. A warrior doesn't wait to be rescued. He sharpens his own sword. She takes the next step, even through fear. Excuses may feel protective, but they're just delayed disguised as logic. Personal reflection, the day I said no more. I used to tell myself, it's not the right time. I'm too busy. Maybe later. One day I got honest, it's not time that's lacking, it's commitment. That truth hit hard, but it also unlocked me. I built a new daily structure. A new set of boundaries. And within a year, I had changed not just my life, but my identity. Wisdom takeaway. Your life is your responsibility. Not your parents. Not your pasts. Not your partners. Yours. And that is the greatest power you will ever know. So ask yourself, what excuse are you finally ready to let go of? Today, not someday. Because someday is running out. Bonus principle, the urgency of now, if not now, when? We all do it. We wait. For the timing to be right. For the fear to subside. For someone to validate our dreams. But here's the truth you've known deep down all along. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment is now. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you're borrowing time from a future that's not promised. Personal reflection, the day I stopped waiting. For years, I wanted to start a podcast. I had the mic. The name. Even a few episode outlines. But I kept postponing. I need better editing skills. I'll wait until I'm more confident. I'm too busy. One day, I asked myself, what if tomorrow never comes? So I recorded. Messy. Nervous. Uncertain. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And more importantly, it was done. That podcast now has over 50,000 downloads. Wisdom from the Buddha. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. Buddha. The future isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's waiting for you to move. The path to your dreams won't show up fully paved. It appears as you walk it. Wisdom takeaway. Stop waiting. Start becoming. Ask yourself, if not now, when? If not you, who? Make a move. Even a small one. Momentum is born from today, not someday. Conclusion, you are the artist. This life is your masterpiece. Let's take a breath and look back. What did we learn? You learned that emptiness is not a curse, it's a blank canvas. That desperation can be divine fuel. That solitude is not loneliness, it's power. That waiting for permission will rob your life of momentum. That ownership is the key to freedom. That energy, creativity, and progress are not given, they are forged through action. That success comes not from resources, but from resourcefulness. That tiny daily consistency outperforms sudden spurts of intensity. That letting go opens more doors than clinging ever could. That serving others is the secret to abundance. That mental stillness in storms creates unshakable resilience. That excuses are stories you outgrow the moment you take full responsibility. And finally, you've learned that this moment, right now, is your moment. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is whether you are willing to trust, to try, to act, to fall, and to rise again. You are not powerless. You are unfinished. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not behind. You are building. You are not lost. You are on the path. And the path doesn't require you to be perfect. It only asks you to walk. Like the river carves stone. Like the sun rises without needing permission. Like the Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, not waiting, but awakening. So can you. Final reflection questions. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting? What could you create if you embraced discipline over doubt? What might change if you lived not from fear, but from truth? You already have the answers. Now take the step. Because the greatest wisdom is not hidden in ancient texts, distant temples, or mystical philosophies. The deepest wisdom lives in you. You are the path. You are the power. You are enough. Let the masterpiece begin. If this message resonated with you, share it. Start a conversation. Light another candle. Let's remind the world that freedom is not given, it is chosen. You just chose it.